Steven is back on our screens and he's more punchable than ever. Now, I feel like Jackson White, the actor who plays Steven, I feel like his face is not normally punchable, but when he's in this character, that smug fucking, yeah. So Tell Me Lie season 2 is out. And I got very lucky. The PR team that's been working on Tell Me Lies season 2 reached out and said, hey, would you want to interview some of these people? And therefore, they had to give me screeners. Otherwise, what would I interview them on? So I've already seen all of season 2. I know I'd be jealous of me too. The bummer is that it's over for me. And I almost didn't watch all of it just so that I could experience it with you guys. But when I was going to interview Meaghan Oppenheimer, I thought I should know the whole thing so that I could ask specific questions about season 2. And so I did get to interview Meaghan Oppenheimer, and I will be playing that at the end of this recap so you guys can check it out. The interview does cut off, and I will be saving the spoiler-specific questions for the Patreon, and I will wait, of course, until those episodes that the spoilers pertain to have aired. So I will not be spoiling anything for anybody ahead of time. But make sure you do check out the Patreon. The middle and top tiers get you all the bonus content. That's where I'm going to be putting any extra Tell Me Lies stuff. Plus, I'm also releasing exclusive episodes over there as well. And the Patreon link is in the description of this episode. Yeah, that's it. Let's get into the recap. Okay, we open in the 2015 era. I'm already happy about that because we really got barely any 2015 stuff from the first season. But anyway, here we are. We're in 2015. We're at the engagement party, wedding shower, whatever this is. Lydia and Steven are so over the top with the PDA. So over the top. But the girls, they're chatting. And so I appreciate how lightly tense it is between Lucy and Pippa. You can tell Bree and Pippa and Bree and Lucy have stayed in close contact. But Pippa and Lucy, I understand that they're a really interesting friendship dynamic where they love each other, but it's like your bullshit, not a big fan of it. And like Pippa's not going to let people get away with bullshit. Even though Pippa has her own set of flaws, which we will get into. But Bree thinks that Pippa's seeing someone, and Pippa says, I'm hanging out with this girl. I'm like, okay, girl, yes. It's just sex, and I'm not saying any more about it. Copy that. Okay, we'll get to that. Put a pin in it. The guys come up with the idea to buzz Steven's hair or head. What do they say? But literally, thank you. What the fuck was this hair? It feels like the worst wig you could have put on this man. It's like he needs the buzzed head. Jackson White needs the buzzed head for me to get the attraction. The hair that he had, I'm like, oh, I hate it. I hate it. Lucy goes to the bath to like chill for a second in the bedroom, and Lydia comes out of the bathroom, and they're like, oh, hey, oh my God, it's so awkward. And Lucy tries to be like, are you having fun? And Lydia's like, I can't do this. I know Steven wants us to be in a good mood and happy today, but I will never forgive you for any of it. And you're like, what? Tell me. I love these tandem storyline or tandem timeline stories. I love it because then there's two things you need. It's like, which side are we going to get the reveal on? Is it going to be from back here? Is it going to be from over here? I love it. It's a trick. I'm sure people know it's a trick, but I fall for it every time. I love the tandem storylines in different time frames that one is going to reveal what's happening in the current one. I love it. I love it. Okay. We transition from that to Holla Back Girl by Gwen Stefani, and this shit took me back. I remember this track, okay? This is the 2008 Lucy, and Lucy has taken up running. I used to work out to Hollaback Girl. It's just funny how a lot of these songs are like my nostalgia songs too, because that's the era. But turns out Lucy has been hanging with Lydia all summer in her mansion. And Lydia hates fucking Steven. It's just like the contrast. How do we get from here to 2015? I can't wait. Tell me. Lydia's brother is going to be going to Baird, which is where Lucy goes to school. Okay. Lucy gets a text from Bree while she's sitting here hanging out with Lydia, soaking in the sun. And it's a picture of Bree and Evan. And then we flash to her night with Evan. When that happened last season, I was like, no, the way they shot it with Lucy waking up, I'm like, no, there's no way. No, they wouldn't do that. And sure enough, no. So yeah, we got that factor that we're working in here. Meanwhile, Steven and Diana are having what looks to be a very fancy lunch with Diana's dad, who looks like a powerhouse. You can tell that man is all business and knows what the fuck he's doing. And Diana she's like, excuse me, I'm gonna go to the restroom. And it's awkward. And Steven's like, hey man, I just wanted to thank you for everything, for this and for that. And thank you so much for this iPhone, because he's got the iPhone that he won't shut up about. Her dad reads him down. Okay, he goes, look, I saw how you operated last summer. You're only honest when it serves you, and you're a very skilled manipulator. Whoa. And he's like, you better get control of that part of yourself, or you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and I don't want my daughter being anywhere near trouble. And then Diana's like, hey, I'm back. And they're like, oh, totally fine. Hi. Okay. Okay, back in the dorms, Pippa's hair. I had a friend in college that did funky hair stuff. And I can tell, like, no one really loves it. Not Diana. Lucy and Bree are like, your hair, it's different. It's a choice. I had a friend who was all about this shit. My friend just like did not care. Actually, I just remembered though. She had been dyeing her hair purple when I met her. Then she dyed it black. Then she wanted to go blonde and let a friend who was still in beauty school do it, and literally disintegrated her hair. Like, she wasn't bald, but her hair was just like, it was like mush. It was insane. So that's what happens when you get a little too bold. Anyway, Steven is being overly cautious about Wrigley's knee. And I don't know if this was a choice I don't know whose choice it was, but it feels like Steven's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He's almost doing it to rub it in Wrigley's face and remind him. That's at least how I'm reading it. Like, remind him that, like, he's useless. Oh, it's your poor knee. Your poor little knee. I just feel so bad for you. When Steven loves it, because Steven's such a jealous hater. And Steven probably is like, yeah, fuck you and your fucking football, whatever. I forget, why is it so awkward with Steven and Evan when they say hi? Is that because Evan decided to get his own place and had to tell Steven, I'm not living with you? That's got to be it, right? It's like, hey, what's going on? Also, it's probably awkward for Evan because he slept with Lucy. And he's like, oh, hey, Steven. Okay. So I guess that's a little tense. Anyhow. But Drew is not speaking to Wrigley. And I think Evan might ask about it or something, like, how's Drew? And Wrigley's like, yeah, he's not talking to me. And then he goes to the bathroom and Steven's like, Evan, we should definitely not bring up Drew. Like, who wants to talk about any of that stuff, right? We want to forget. Basically, let's just forget anything that happened last year. We're just going to pretend it didn't happen, okay? Because I practically killed Macy. I didn't mention that, did I? It's funny. This show has so much going on that Steven killing Macy in the car, which I know he didn't, like, kill her intentionally, but, like, that's what he did. And then staging it to make it look like she drove the car. That's such a huge point. And last season, it felt like there was a tone of I know what you did last summer, which I say when I'm in my interview with Meaghan. And there's not as much of that this season because there's so many other storylines and dynamics going on that whenever they go back to that factor of things like, oh yeah, Steven fucking killed her. It's like, oh yeah, that's huge. This man's a sociopath because he has lived with that. But Drew was having all kinds of problems when he was the other car that he didn't even do anything, really. He was swerving out of the way because the other car, which was Steven driving, was the one all crazy. And so Drew's guilt over just that was eating him up so much. And then Steven's just walking around doing his thing because he's a sociopath. All right. Meanwhile, the girls are hanging. They're getting ready to go to a party. And Bree's talking about how it's been weird with Evan all summer. And Lucy's like, but Lucy, it's funny because she makes it very obvious something is wrong. But I know that's like for the sake of the show and the narration. But she's like, oh, is it weird? Is it so weird? And then she only ends up doing one eye of makeup. I love when they break into just like girls getting the giggles. I think it's cute when they do that. And she's just like, what the fuck? How did I do that? That was cute. But when they get to the party and when Evan sees Lucy or when they see each other, it's so where they're like, hi, hello, hi, yes, hi. Thankfully, no one picks up on it. We meet the new guy, Leo. I really liked, there was a smart thing to say he was studying abroad last year because really like how are they going to interweave a character, have it kind of, okay. Yeah. So I like that was a smart choice. And he's so cute. Thomas Doherty, the actor. Oh, I love him. He's my boyfriend. This character, Leo, I just love him. And then you're probably like, wait, what? Because maybe from what you've seen from the trailer, but no, I love him so much. The football team is still being so insanely mean to Pippa, and it makes me really mad that Lucy just lets it happen. And as much as she's like, tell Wrigley to tell him to back off, I'm like, yeah, but like she's literally taking the heat that you should be getting. Like, literally. So that's a tough pill for me to swallow. Lucy's definitely flawed. There's no doubt about that. Like, real flawed. So they're at this party. The shot of Steven and Diana walking in with him like back hugging her, it was like that. It was, I was in high school again and I saw my ex-boyfriend walking in with the new girlfriend because that's what they would do. It's like, it's so juvenile and like kind of sad, territorial, but like acting like we're the cool ones here at the, I don't know. It was very accurate. Lucy and Steven end up bumping into each other here, and he expects her to be like, fuck you, or freaking out and crazy. But when she's all cool, you can see his brain plotting ways to humiliate her. He was needing it. He needed to bump into her and have her be crazy because he wanted to like humiliate her. So she did. Way to go, Lucy. She's like, I don't hate you. No, it's not. And then she walks away and he goes, hey, Lucy, I don't buy it. I bet you've been thinking about me all summer. And she goes, it doesn't work anymore, Steven. I know that's right. Don't you even, yeah. Okay, the next day, Bree and Evan have a disagreement in the hall because Bree is going to go with Lucy to Marianne, the English teacher, who's a queen, by the way, fucking obsessed with her. She apparently has the students come over to her house at the top of the year to like hang and drink wine and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. But anyway, so I guess Bree and Evan had plans. She's changing the plans. He gets upset about it. But Steven happens to look over and this man can spot a fracture that he can capitalize on from a mile away, literally. So he goes and sits down and Bree's like, bye. And Evan's telling him like, oh, this is what's been happening all summer. And because Steven is the most toxic human being, he figures out that Evan cheated. And then Evan's like, just some random girl. But you see Steven's wheels a-turning. He's like, perfect. Okay, so Bree and Lucy, though, they go to this fabulous party at Marianne's house. And enter hot professor man, who Bree saw earlier. So Bree trying to get in the class earlier, she put on the fake waterworks to try to get into the class and looked over, and hot professor man was like, ugh, really? But then he's here at this party. And she's like, oh, hello. Lucy's all bumbly and awkward, thanking Marianne for letting her in her class. And the way Marianne is just so controlled and so together and just says, relax, have a glass of wine. I'm like, oh, she's gorgeous. I'm obsessed with her. Love her. But okay, Bree tells Lucy, Evan's pissed because I'm coming to this thing with you. I changed our plans. And so Lucy's like, oh, I feel bad. Why don't you send him a cute picture or something? So Bree goes outside to take her awkward selfie. And it is mortifying when you see someone is already there and you're like, oh my God, I wasn't, hi. And so he's like, oh, were you coming out here to smoke? She's like, yep, coming out here to smoke. Oh, dang it. I don't have any cigarettes. And he's like, here, you can have one of mine. And so she takes a cigarette. And here's the thing. I realize how like on the nose this is. That good girl Bree, who had the boyfriend and was just the sweet, innocent virgin. Now she's got this older professor man and he's given her a cigarette and she doesn't even smoke. And I just kind of love how on the nose it is. It's just juicy. It's just silly almost. Okay, then Oliver calls her out for her little performance to get into that class. And Bree's line is, some men respond better to little girls. Okay, that's a line. That's a line. Especially to a man who's about to, be hitting on this or flirting with or something with this girl. I mean, maybe that's just because Tom Ellis, who is married to Meaghan Oppenheimer, the show creator and showrunner, he's just a sexy man. So I don't know if he's intentionally flirting or if that's just because he's so attractive. I would consider it flirting if he just looked at me. I want to say that I do love all of the actors and the cast and everything, but I'm gonna say that Kat, who plays Bree, does have a bit of a limitation to her depth, sometimes in scenes. It's endearing to me in a way. It's almost comforting because not every scene is going to be really that heaviness. There's just a little bit of a woof acting moment when Oliver's like, well, I can't wait to tell my wife that you fought so hard to get into her class. And she goes, no, you can't tell her. That would be so embarrassing. Oof. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. But I love her. It's tough because what I loved so much about this character was how genuinely kind and sweet and innocent, even though you knew she had a troubled past. I love that about the character. And now they're taking her into this like naughty whatever side. And that's, I'm sure, a lot of fun for the actor because you get to play a lot more with that. But it's tough because I really don't want Bree to be the bad girl. I want Bree to stay. She wasn't innocent. She actually probably had the toughest life of all of them. But there was just a different tone to her that we're corrupting, which, is good. But we're still corrupting it. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to. Okay, but Diana's at this event. Okay, she's such a bitch, dude. Lucy's like, oh, are you even in her class? When she bumps into her, and Diana goes, no, but I'm a fan of Jane Hirschfield. The way she looks at her, the poet doing the reading, the reason this event was happening in the first place. Well, actually, Diana, Lucy was invited by her teacher, okay, because she's in the class. Okay, that's what happened. All right. And then Lucy just goes, I see, and walks away. And Diana goes, wow, that's nice. Bitch. Okay. Lucy goes, why do you think I owe you niceness? Diana says, look, I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt, but Stephen and I have a long history that you were never a part of. Bitch, how do you know? And that's just what it is. Deep down, you had to know you two weren't right for each other. Okay, bitch. Then you think you're right for Steven? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, bitch. That's fine. All right, next day, they're in Marianne's class, and someone is reading one of their pieces of work. And it seems like Lucy is going to be able to kind of relate it to Stephen, but then it turns out it's about her parakeet. And Lucy can't stop from laughing. But the weird thing is the laughing turns into crying, it seems. And then she runs out. So then when Bree comes to check on her, and Lucy goes, "Okay, did Marianne seem weirded out?" And Bree goes, "A little." Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't your best work, Lucy. So Lucy goes back to apologize to Marianne, but Marianne gets deep with Lucy. Okay, she tells her, like, she gets Lucy to open up a little bit more about. And Lucy talked about Stephen. I didn't say Stephen by his name, but she says that there was this guy and whatever, and he's just an asshole. And I'm just trying to take the high road. And Marianne goes, you don't always have to take the high road. Okay, it's overrated. And I'm like, I knew I loved you. She's like, you don't, no thanks. But then she even offers Lucy extra credit. She's writing her book, and she writes it by hand, which is crazy. And she wants Lucy to transcribe it for her. So we got that. But we love Marianne. All right, Stephen, though. Stephen is in the dining hall, and he happens to look over and see that Lucy, Bree, and Pippa are sitting with Leo, the guy that we met at the party. Little cutie pie Leo. And Stephen goes, that's not going to work for me. So he goes and sits there. First he walks up, he goes, "Leo, back from China." And Leo goes, "No, France." And Stephen just goes, "Lucy, I've been thinking about you a lot lately, and I owe you an apology." Oh my God. He goes, "Okay, I'm really sorry for hurting you so badly last year. I embarrassed you over and over and over again, and you kept forgiving me no matter what. I'm gonna just, I probably eroded any sense of dignity you had. That's my fault. That's my fault. And the thing is, I knew I was still in love with Diana. It was so fucking wrong of me to use you like that. I hate this man. God, whoever wrote this line, whoever wrote this little monologue, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to talk to you. He's like, it was just so deeply shitty of me. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Cut to Lucy. Next shot is Lucy on that treadmill trying to, just take the high road and get her anger out on the treadmill. But I swear she thinks about what Marianne said about how it's not so necessary to take the high road. And she marches over to his dorm room and she rips the iPhone out of his hand, chucks it, and says, "You're right. I am still mad. And I know you probably love that. But I swear to God, if you keep fucking with me, I will ruin your life." She says, "I will tell everyone what you did in the car that night, starting with Diana." I love it. Get him. Get him. They play a cover of Crazy. And I think this is Kat, who plays Bree, singing it. Because when I interviewed Meaghan Oppenheimer, she mentioned Kat sang another song. I can't remember which one. And I believe this sounds like it could be Kat or Bree, which is a fun little factoid, isn't it? That she also is quite a lovely singer. Okay, back in 2015, Stephen has just had his damn head buzzed, and now it's like, great. Lucy's right back to college in that era. But the big reveal we get at the end of this damn episode is Pippa's friend who she's been hanging with is Diana. Diana. When I first saw this reveal, I was like, what? It almost didn't even really make sense at first. But the way they do it, this show, it's good. It's really, really good. We recently did a revamp of the merch for the rebrand, and I had a couple of people ask what platform we use. Shopify. I've been using Shopify since before I even did the podcast because I wanted to be a drop shipper, and Shopify lets you build websites without needing to know how to code or whatever the hell it's called. They have a bunch of templates, super customizable, lots of freedom to make it look however you want it to look. I don't even use all of the features Shopify has. Shopify has a billion different apps and add-ons and things to make the checkout process more lucrative. They have Shop Pay, which apparently boosts conversions up to like 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned, so you got more sales coming in. Shopify integrates with like every provider too. I've changed providers that we were using someone before that was a little bit too expensive. And when I switched over, I was like, oh God, it's going to be so confusing. I'm not going to figure it out. Literally all I did was type Shopify into the new supplier website and like linked it, and it was done. My Shopify dashboard is updated, so all the sales are coming from the right place and the inventory is being tracked. And okay, thank you. If you are running any kind of online e-commerce, whatever, Shopify is sort of the only company I would think to use. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/shespeaks, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/shespeaks to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/shespeaks. Well. I know that a lot of you won't know what's happened here because I'm just going to edit this episode together. But yesterday when I was recording what you were just listening to or watching, I didn't realize that the computer program I used to record just stopped the recording. And I didn't realize it until about 6 p.m. when I sat down to edit it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. So here I am back again to record episode 2, the recap. Again, it's always challenging to repeat a recap you've already done. Because even I'm like, Emily, you just said that. No, even though you guys don't know. Anywho, hi, hopefully it doesn't happen again. Episode 2 of Tell Me Lies. For some reason, I left out some scenes yesterday. I noticed it when I was editing. I was like, did I not even talk about when Lucy and Evan see each other at the party? I didn't. But Evan can't even look at Lucy. That's how disgusted he is in himself. And there was also a moment which is now relevant because Pippa was flirting with Chris, Lydia's brother. And now in episode 2, we get into some more stuff. Okay, episode 2 is Bree's birthday. I love the poussoir inside joke. I feel like I had a bunch of inside jokes, not that I can't remember any of them, but that was such a thing, making shirts too that say your like phrase on it. So I love the little poussoir inside joke that they are continuing. But then Evan gets Bree these earrings. And the process of finding the perfect earrings for this moment, they nailed it because they're beautiful. They're just so not Bree at all. She's like, what the fuck? So she's like thrown off, and he gets weirded out because he's like, oh wait, you don't like the gift, which wouldn't be a big deal if you hadn't cheated. So he's like reading into everything, and this is such a classic like birthday fight. Like they get in this fight and then he leaves and it's her birthday and it's just like a big letdown. And then Bree just sneaks out of her own party. Leo was at this bar. How are these kids all using these fake IDs, man? This bar does not give a fuck about these fake IDs, I tell you that. Leo was there anyway, so Lucy and Leo are flirting. But Bree leaves. She bumps into Oliver, who is smoking a cigarette in front of some bar. I love him going, what's puswa? What's puswa? And then having to explain it like, oh, it's an inside joke to this like grown adult professor, But she talks about the earrings that Evan got her. And when Oliver touches those earrings, it's like, uh-oh, it's over now. She's in. The next day, Stephen does what every one of us used to do back then. And you look through the Facebook posts. We really were documenting every single thing. I remember those Facebook albums, like the photo albums you put together. I should probably I tried to delete some of my Facebook pictures recently. Like I was going through cuz my Facebook is connected to the She's Speaking Facebook page. Like you have to have like a main Facebook and then have that whatever. And all of my shit is on there on that Facebook page that people could totally go through. It's so embarrassing. But it wouldn't let me. I don't know why. Like some of I was trying to mass delete a bunch, but it was like you can't perform this. I don't know. It was very confusing. But Steven's looking through the Facebook posts from the night before and I couldn't tell if it was Bree's page or I'm sorry, Lucy's page that he was looking at or if it was just pictures that were posted. But that was so a thing where you would just like obsess and just like look at those photos like, oh my God, they were there. Ah. And so Steven's like, how was the party last night? Acting like he had no idea who was there. And then Evan's like, well, Pippa and Bree. And he's like, "Ugh," or Lucy. God, I keep doing that. He's like, Evan goes, what are you worried about? I just don't want her talking about me. That's all, Evan's like, what the hell would she say that we don't already know about you? And he's like, oh, right. Oh, just that I killed someone. Just that. And left her body and staged it to make it look like she was driving. That's it. You guys probably don't care about that. But then Steven's wheels keep a turning. They're still turning. He goes, hey, is Bree the one? And Evan says, yeah. And he's like, well, hey, you really need to come clean then, because what if you do end up together? It's going to be eating at you forever. I just don't trust this. I don't trust you, Steven. What? Anyway, smash cut over to Wrigley. And it's clear that Wrigley's just had some very empty sex and he doesn't even care about the person. But this extra that they have playing this role, this non-speaking role, is cracking me up because she does nothing. This extra does nothing in this scene. She's just picking up her stuff. Diana walks in looking for Steven, and this extra just stands there like waiting for her cue to leave. And then she just walks out. It's like, okay. She's like, I was paid as an extra and I shall remain as such. Got it. But then Wrigley's like, hang out, Diana. His shirt's off. And she's like, I should go because I don't want Steven to feel weird, because we slept together once. And Wrigley's like, what? And then he remembers it. But then as Wrigley figures out, he's like, wait a minute. How come Steven didn't tell me about this? Which is what Steven does. He holds on to information and you cannot trust him with anything because he will drop it. He's conniving. He's calculated. He plays that long con. Ooh. But Diana's like, please don't say anything to Steven. And Wrigley's probably putting some stuff together like, wait, is that why he said that? Mm-hmm. Leo and Lucy get drinks. I really love Leo. I am in love with Thomas Doherty. He's such a cutie pie with his smile. And she goes, it's nice of you not to bring up Steven's little monologue. And Leo's like, yeah, I just never liked the guy. I've seen him be an asshole too many times. So we're like, oh, okay, cool. Leo has this connection. All right. He hates Steven too. We love it. They have a really cute first kiss. And it's interesting. You just know that it's not right because Lucy needs toxicity. You could just tell, like it's been clear from season 1 that Lucy needs that toxicity and Leo is a nice boy. So you can tell that she's like, yeah, it's great, but it's not like, but there's nothing wrong with Leo. And then only the people with like perspective on the situation, not feeling the chemicals, could be like, go with Leo, yay. But it's like, no, that toxic, that pull that Steven has, it's still there and it's different. And it's sick, right? Okay, Bree goes over to Evans to make up, but unfortunately, this is when he confesses. He goes, I think I cheated. I'm like, ooh. And he says it was a stupid drunk thing, and I'm so sorry. I love you so much. And she's like, well, wait, hold on. Did you kiss someone? And he just shakes his head, and you're like, oh. She says, who was it? Well, What? Nobody. Nobody. I was wasted. It was just some random girl. This is again where like Bree's acting can only go so deep. I find it comforting though. I find it comforting that she is kind of like not that emotive. That's not a word, I don't think. If it is, cool. But she doesn't have like she doesn't go to really deep places. You know what I mean? But anyway, Steven, it's cut over to Steven. Steven's in class and it's the end of it and he's packing stuff up, but he sees that the next class has Lucy in it. And he goes up to the teacher and he's like, hey, can I stop by your office later to discuss something? And as we know from the trailer that he is going to be the new TA for her class because he's sick. He's like, she's not mad enough. And I get off on her being upset, which is disgustingly true. But anyway, Lucy finishes up her class. She goes into Bree and Pippa's room and Bree's crying. And Pippa goes, Evan cheated on Bree. But this is where Grace Van Patten's acting is top tier. Because you could tell all at once, she's like, but then wait, hold on, what? Did he say who? No, just some random girl. Okay, now I can just breathe here a little bit. And, okay. Grace Van Patten really does have some acting chops, I got to tell you. She's a tour de force, I have to say. I think she's excellent. Excellent, excellent. But it is funny because Pippa's like, we're staying and we're going to be with you all night. And Bree's like, oh, yeah, Pippa, do you mind getting me something to drink? And then she's like, Lucy, if you don't get Pippa out of here, I'm going to kill her. I can't have her doting on me the whole time. And she's like, okay, cool. So then Lucy and Pippa go to this party and Diana is the first thing they see. But also at this party, it's a quick moment. There's this woman who looks like a lesbian. Her name is Quentin. And she's all like, hey, Pippa. And she's kind of like, it almost feels like they're having a connection. They're flirting. And I love that Pippa is like toying with her sexuality so much and and she's having these cool connections with this clear lesbian. But then enter Chris, who is Lydia's brother. And so they start chatting it up and whatever. Meanwhile, Miss Briggy, who made it seem like she just didn't want Pippa doting all over her, is walking into that very bar that she saw Oliver in front of. So now we get why she didn't really want them to stay in with her, because she had a plan. So she sits down next to the professor. God, this man, Tom Ellis, oh God, he's fine. She goes, I teach here now. I teach college. And he goes, we have to acknowledge that you came here looking for me. I'm like, oh, that's right, we do. Okay, I'm going to say this, though. I thought I was going to be more turned on by this professor-student storyline, but I was actually like, excuse me? Because as an adult, more of an adult woman now, with years under my belt, I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't sexy. This is predatory. This is real dangerous. What the fuck does a 45-year-old man need a 19-year-old for? Ew. So once they start kind of getting more into this little affair thing, I'm like, wait a second. I guess it's not as good as I wanted. Okay. It's just interesting seeing my age and how it's affected. Because I talk about this in the interview with Meaghan, so I'll just save it for that. I'll let you guys hear that part. Anyway, Wrigley and Steven are playing Xbox, and they make sure to show us Wrigley popping some pain pills. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign for multiple reasons, but not a good sign, especially when he's drinking. I got so sick one time because I was taking, who had Vicodin? Someone had Vicodin. And he had been popping his Vicodin and drinking. I did not realize that Vicodin would upset my stomach so much. I have never thrown up more. Ugh, gross. But Wrigley tells Steven how sad he is that Drew's not talking to him. And Steven's advice is to just stop. Wait for Drew to reach out. And I don't love that advice because Steven is just trying to like isolate and alienate everybody. That's what he's doing, it feels like, you know? But then Wrigley makes fun of Steven for not having his iPhone. Like, oh, what happened to your iPhone? And then Steven's like, It was Lucy, actually, having one of her tantrums. Oh, shut the. Oh, that's so condescending. Having one of her tantrums that I totally instigated, or that I poked at. I poked at her enough until she snapped, and it worked. Wrigley's like, I'm surprised you let her get away with that. And Steven's like, what? What do you mean? And I think this is Wrigley kind of pointing out, like, that doesn't track. Like, Steven wouldn't let someone do that. So, but then he goes, but it's good that you're being the bigger person. I could tell, for once, I could tell Wrigley's like, I'm kind of onto you. It's when Diana told him that he knew about them having sex, and Wrigley didn't know, Steven knew. He's like, oh, interesting. Lucy and Leo are hanging at the party, having a good time. He's so cute. And then she looks over and she sees Pippa and Chris making out. But then when she looks back over, they're gone. Put a pin in that. The scene with Bree and Oliver in the bar, it's giving me all the things I would expect from this affair. Like it's checking all the boxes. They're connecting in ways that she hasn't connected to with Evan. He's listening to her. Then he says his first wife died. And I don't know why that would make a woman be like, oh my God, it's stupid, but it's like, then loss and pain. It's dysfunctional, but okay there. But then Bree starts asking about Marianne, and she's like, are you two just so happy with each other? And Oliver goes, sure. But then he goes, it's pretty obvious why you came here tonight, so let's just get to the point. And Bree says, do you think I'm pretty? And this is the pocket I love this actress in, because she really does this genuine insecurity it's just so endearing. And I was kind of getting irritated because I'm like, no, I don't want Bree to be this way. But then this line was like, oh, that's so heartbreaking. And then he just says, I think you're pretty, and I think we both should leave. But then they go smoke out front while she waits for the cab. And they do this kissing thing back and forth. And it is, I was excited. I was like, oh yeah. This is working for me. It was the energy. Then the cab comes and they're like, I got to get in the cab. I'm like, it was good. Good scene. But then what does she do? Because she is horny. She runs over to Evans and jumps his bones. And I'm so here for it. I do think, I'm just going to be ripping on this person, but I do think that the sex faces that Bree makes are just not my favorite. They don't work for me. And it's kind of a gross thing maybe to say that about an actor who's doing a sex scene. Is that like totally pervy? But like Grace Van Patten, she makes some faces that I'm into. Even dang it, what's Pippa's name? Hold on. The actress is Sonia. Sonia makes some pretty good faces, but she's had some different type of sex scenes, Pippa. Like Bree's faces make it seem like she's in pain, which I know that's kind of sometimes the face. Yeah, okay. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that anymore. Diana, back at the party, walks into a bedroom and she sees Pippa with no shirt on, throwing up, it looks like, and Chris walking out of the bathroom like, oh, hey, because there was stuff in front of the door. Like he was clearly trying to block the door. So Diana she kicks out this creep and goes and gets Lucy, which is such a big thing, right? Having to go say, hey, Lucy, I know that whatever, but so they take care of Pippa together, and it's a cool moment. And then they get Pippa back to the dorms, and Diana tells her what she saw and that Chris, it looked bad. She basically says, it didn't look good. I don't have any proof, but it didn't look good. And then Steven starts calling Diana's phone. It's like, yes, there we are. So Diana leaves. Lucy actually stays with Pippa all night. It's so sweet. But when Pippa wakes up, she's claiming that she doesn't remember anything other than making out with him in the hallway. and the rest is totally blank. And then Lucy tells her, well, this is what Diana saw, and you had half your clothes off. But Pippa goes, well, that's embarrassing. And this tracks for Pippa's like what we know of Pippa so far. This totally tracks because she's been hiding her truth from everybody since last year. She wouldn't want to be in this situation. She, like, even though she's a strong woman who wants to stand up for other women and herself, this is Pippa's weakness. Is she's like, she's had a really hard life, being bullied and picked on and singled out, and this does track. This does track. And so Lucy though keeps asking, like, did anything weird happen? And Pippa goes, why do you keep asking that? It was an embarrassing night. I'm sorry. Besides, I was making out with him. What's he supposed to do? Keep checking in with me to make sure I'm not blackout? Grow up, Lucy. Yikes. But Lucy and Pippa both have done this last season when Lucy snaps at Pippa for being like, Pippa was asking about Steven. And Lucy's like, I know, okay, I'm pathetic. Okay, whatever. And Pippa doesn't get mad back. She just kind of goes, no, hey, that's not at all what I'm saying. And Lucy does the same thing here for Pippa. Lucy goes, hey, maybe we should just talk to somebody about this. Like, she realizes what's happening with Pippa and doesn't take it personal. That's very evolved for college students, I gotta say. Very evolved. Pippa says, do not tell anybody. Don't tell Bree even. She doesn't want to make it a big thing. Ugh. Meanwhile, over at Evan's, Bree's waking up and she is a little hungover, and she pulls this test on Evan where she says that she also cheated. And then Evan's like, well, if that's what happened, I don't know if I can forgive you. Which honestly is probably exactly what he would. That does make sense. It's like, when you cheated, I know, but you did too. This is bad. This is bad. And apparently that was her test. And honestly, this bitch was just looking for an excuse to be like, and I'm going to stay with Oliver. I'm going to keep pursuing this Oliver thing. And now I won't have to feel guilty about it. How about that? Because I was like, oh, she tricked him. First she got laid. Then the next day she's like, oh, I cheated too. Oh, you can't forgive me? Well, guess what? I didn't cheat. Fuck you. We're broken up. Oliver, hello. So, okay, Lucy and Leo, they're getting coffee. They're over in this college looks so fun. I don't remember having a little coffee shop. Maybe I did. I don't remember. They're getting coffee, and she turns around and she bumps into someone, and this guy's like, you fucking idiot. And Leo's like, hey, watch your mouth. So Lucy's like, nope, no problem. Goes and gets napkins, and when she turns over, Leo headbutts the guy. Okay. So the last vignette that they do, I don't think that's the terminology for what I'm trying to say, but I hope you know what I mean, is you got Pippa walking to do her laundry with this kind of haunted look on her face, where she's clearly trying not to think about it and but she's so not present. Great acting, I thought, in that part. But then Lucy goes to class, fresh off watching this guy that she's been talking to, having headbutt this stranger. And there's fucking Steven, the fucking TA. Okay, I'm going to say something really shady, but I don't care. Did Jackson White gain weight or something? Like, he doesn't look the same as he did last season. And I know there's a big gap in between it, but his face looks different to me. Maybe they're just shooting him different or something, but I'm like, what? Something's off. I was like slightly attracted to him last season. Maybe just because this season the allure is gone. The allure is over for Steven. Maybe that's what it is. Something's different. But anyway, Bree, meanwhile, her last minute, she's walking through the campus like, excuse me. She goes to Oliver's office, walks in his office, and says, I'm ready for you to kiss me. Ooh. And there we go. It's feeling juicy, isn't it? All right. I'm going to throw this over to the interview I did with Meaghan Oppenheimer, and I'll see you guys next week. Right? Yes. Okay. Transitioning my wardrobe between seasons is usually quite a challenge for me, but I've been getting a bunch of clothes from Quince the last few months, and their pieces are really timeless, so the transition is not so challenging after all. Like this washable silk top. I've been pairing this with shorts or a little skirt, but for the fall, I'm going to throw on some jeans with it, a little jacket maybe. Oh, it would be so pulled together. Quince also has cashmere sweaters for $50. And the reason Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands is because they partner directly with factories, which cuts out the cost of the middleman, and they pass those savings on to us. And they only use factories that have ethical practices and use the top quality fabrics and finishes. So you know you're going to get something good. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/she speaks for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/she speaks to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/she speaks. The preventative anti-aging tip that I did not get drilled into me nearly enough when I was in my 20s. Protect your chest area. Protect your décolletage. Moisturize your décolletage. Because by the time I realized I had been neglecting this area, it was too late, and now I've got a reverse damage. So one of the tricks is moisturize as soon as you get out of the shower or the bath. And Oak Essentials Dew body oil has the stuff in it that we need. All of us need it. The Dew body oil has borage seed oil. This is the single richest source of gamma-linoleic acid, which is shown to significantly improve the health and appearance of skin tissue, as well as effectively reduce the appearance of redness and inflammation. I need that. It's inflamed. Also, organic sesame seed oil, which has vitamin A, vitamin E, also a bunch of other essential fatty acids, also rich in phenolic compounds, which is a powerful anti-inflammatory agent found to reduce oxidative stress. So that's what we got here if you haven't been protecting it. So protect your skin. Oak Essentials also makes a moisture-rich balm, also to be used right out of the shower or the bath on damp skin for the face. You get it all warmed up and you apply it to your face. It gives you like a glass skin look. So say hello to clean, spa-quality skincare essentials that deliver a moisture-rich glow. My followers will get 15% off their first order when you use code SheSpeaks15 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at OAKESSENTIALS.com. Promo code SheSpeaks15. Go ahead and treat yourself. Get your best radiant skin this fall with Oak Essentials. The changes you made from the book, now, like with Lydia and Steven, did you know going in you were going to get a second season? And did you like start from the end of where you wanted it to end up and work backwards?
No, so when I pitched the show to Hulu, I pitched that ending before I even got the show greenlit or had the job. So I went through it though chronologically. I just at the ending, I was like, who is the last person he would possibly be with? And so I thought it would be really fun. And it made me kind of laugh gleefully. So I felt like it was the right move.
Yeah, because like it's so many connecting factors had to happen in order to get that to work. And so it's like, how did she map that out? It was a fabulous reveal.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, once you know what certain big moments you want in the season, when I'm starting out, I always kind of know a few big things I want to happen. And then it's about, finding the way there and finding all the little details and the logistics.
Okay, so it is like a starting here, this is where we want to end up, and then we weave it through.
A bit, yeah. A bit.
I love that. Now, the development of the other characters, because for what I've seen is there isn't much from the other characters in the book. And so it took a lot of extra development on your guys' side.
Yeah, I mean the book I felt like when Hulu first approached me about this to begin with, they said, we don't really know what the show version is, so pitch us whatever your version of it would be. And so the book I felt like was so wonderful, but it was all internal dialogue. And so we sort of had to make the show its own thing to have it
Yeah.
be externalized properly. And I thought that building out the rest of the characters was a necessary thing because in TV, you don't want to be too claustrophobic with just two people. So it was really fun just kind of getting to start from scratch with the rest.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
It-
cool because, like, if you will, the main or maybe the biggest plot point is that Stephen essentially unalived Macy, if you will. But because there are so many other moving parts and vital storylines, whatever, like, for example, in season 2, when we get reminded of it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the big point. Because there's so many other things I care about.
yeah. I mean, for me, the Macy storyline was really just meant to be the catalyst.
Yeah.
The thing that started all the little tiny lies and secrets and toxicity. And for me, what was more interesting was how that initial tragedy impacted everyone and the ripple effects within the group. And so it was never it was never really a murder mystery to me or about that. To me, what the most interesting thing is always going to be what people really do to each other. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's usually messed up enough. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Totally. It's cool because like season 1, and I mean this with the utmost as a compliment, it had a tone of I know what you did last summer. Like underneath it, I was like, ooh, this is sexy. We get maybe a little bit less of that tone in season 2. It's a lot more character driven. We got 2 new characters. Now I went into the teacher student relationship thing thinking I was going to be like totally turned on. Like, this is so sexy. I'm so into it. Because the last time I remember getting a storyline like this was like the OC or Dawson's Creek. And I was like a college student. So I remembered being like totally turned on. But now as it was so interesting as a 40-year-old woman watching, I was like, get away from her, sir. I'm sure it was intentional, but it was very sensitively done. It wasn't overly romanticized. Still romance, still sexy, but I was surprised that I wasn't like, yes, get it. I was like, where is her mom?
It is funny. People react to it very differently. There
Yeah.
are some that are like, it's hot, I love it. And there's some people that are, I mean, Tom, who played Oliver, was very in a very dark place by the end of it. He was like, I feel very depressed, and because he has a 19-year-old daughter. And I think a
Oh, he
lot
has a
of that,
19-year-old daughter. Oh
yeah,
God.
yeah. So it was
Oh,
difficult for him.
complicated.
It was weird. He felt very guilty. But I think the idea behind it was that when you are 19 or when you're a young girl at all, there's something so powerful about being wanted. There's something so powerful about feeling sexy. I mean, and especially when you're young and it's never happened before. And I think you can believe that you have this power, especially when there's an older person who's risking all this stuff for you. And it's like, oh my God, look at what they would do for me. And then
Totally.
certainly in hindsight, now, as a 38-year-old, I look back at experiences and I'm like, oh my God, I had no power. I was a complete pawn and he had all the power. And so I was really, yeah, pulling on all of that.
How fun was it though for you to get your husband looking all sexy? Sorry, that must have been fun.
It was just, we love working together. It was really fun having him there. And it was nice, having him do such a different role than he's done because he's such a nice guy and he's so warm and lovely and always smiling.
Hmm.
I kept having to be like, be meaner, be colder, stop smiling.
Ooh.
So it was, yeah, no, it was really fun having him there though.
I love Leo. I want to put him in my arms and I want to cradle him and protect him from everything. I love the character.
Oh, good.
That's totally an original character, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was an original character. I knew, when I first started season one, I knew that in season two we would need a love rival to come in. And we got to just sort of again start from scratch with him. And we worked really hard on making sure he felt like a real person who was flawed. but different than Steven, because there's nothing more boring than when a love rival comes in and it's like this fucking guy. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? I don't know.
Hell yeah.
You know, okay, great. It's like this guy, this vanilla guy, you're never going to care. And so we really just wanted to make him complicated. And Thomas is the most charming person in the world. So it was,
He really is, though. That
he's,
face on that boy. Oh my word. I'm like, he's my boyfriend now. Okay, we are dating. Me and this fictional character, we're together now. Because it was a smart move to give him a different type of anger, a different
yeah,
type of rage. You know, it's like it may appear more dangerous on the outside, but it's actually a lot less dangerous than what like a Lucy or a Steven can be capable of in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the thing with Leo is that he expresses his feelings and he's not calculated
Mhm.
and he doesn't have control over his feelings. They explode in ways that are not healthy, but there's something better about that than someone who can go in for the long con like Steven and doesn't show anything and then 10 years later ruins your life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So
Well, thank you so much. You've been
thank
a blast to
you.
talk to. I really appreciate meeting you. Thank you so much for this amazing television show. Can't get enough of it.
Thank you so much. And I love your podcast because I'm obsessed with Bravo. So I listen to it
Oh,
while I'm on the treadmill, when I'm running. It like gets me through. I love it. Yeah.
shut
So
up. Oh my
yeah.
God. That's
Like,
huge.
so I was like, what? So
Oh,
I'm
well, get
thrilled.
out of here. Okay, that's made my damn week. Okay, excuse me while I go tell every single person I know this. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.